What's up, Taiwan? I'm Xiaoliuqiu with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Tuesday marks the last day of the current legislative session in Taiwan, with a large number of bills being passed. Among them are controversial reforms to the nation's media regulator, the NCC, on the way its committee is selected. Another lifts a ban on tour groups traveling to China, while another will require the president to give a State of the Nation report to the legislature. The amendments are mainly being advanced by the main opposition Kuomintang, the largest single party in the legislature. New laws say companies can no longer force workers over 65 to retire. As Vance reports, some workers and business groups are happy with the move, but labor rights activists worry tighter rules on getting a pension could follow.
Wu Caihui is one of the older workers at this fast food restaurant, but she's gotten used to the demands of the work here. And thanks to an amendment to labor laws passed Monday, her employers can't force her to leave if she wants to stay on past retirement age at 65, as long as she can still do the job.
我想说还是给自己一个机会来尝试看看，就在这个工作的当中慢慢调试，尽量让自己跟上工作的那个步伐。
While employers and workers can negotiate the terms of continued employment, one thing is guaranteed. Employers cannot cut the pay of workers just because they're past 65. Anyone who does so can be fined up to $46,000. An amendment to a separate law also passed Monday guarantees guidance for older workers who can't stay and retraining for a new job within 2 years of retirement. A stubbornly low birth rate means Taiwan's population is aging rapidly, creating both a worker shortage and pressure on the pension system. With these new guarantees in place, some people and business groups see older workers staying on the job longer as a positive.
如果这个企业认为说他有这个需要，对方也认为他身体还很健康，要继续延退，就没有什么问题嘛。因为目前来讲，大家身体健康，整个寿命也延后了。
But some labor groups are concerned. The amendments don't change the current pension system, but activists worry stricter rules about pensions may not be far off.
那是不是退休金的请领条件我们也随之延后？那我觉得这就会对劳工的权益真的很有伤害。那到时候甚至整个全国劳工的反弹的声音应该会更大。
But the government still hopes to encourage older workers to stay at their posts, with plans to offer support to companies and set further guidelines to help society adapt to the realities of an aging population. Joseph Wu and Vance for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's military is canceling a contract with a company that it says illegally sold Chinese-made telecoms equipment.
有24案是有使用到录制产品，这个路由器具有网络传输的一个功能，已经违反国军资通管理作业的规定的要求。我们未来最终会核予终止契约。
The move comes after an investigation revealed that China-made devices like dashcams and routers were being used by the military. Defense officials say they are working to resolve the issue effectively and transparently. With the growing global demand for AI comes the demand for energy. Taiwan's Economy Ministry predicts a major increase as the country moves forward on AI tech development. Tiffany Wong reports.
Taiwan has a power problem. Energy-intensive industries and a reliance on imports to keep the lights on are leaving energy experts trying to come up with solutions to an expected boom in energy consumption within the next decade.
新的机组的一些电源开发计划，包括电网、变电所等等的一个更新，因应我们整个再生能源的高渗透率，所以我们的储能系统的建制，我想这3个都是要及时的来做相关的一个建设。
Based on the electricity consumption plans of major manufacturers and investment projects, Taiwan's electricity consumption is expected to jump by 13% by 2030. Much of that demand comes from AI technology, which Taiwan's growing semiconductor industry relies heavily on. AI's demand for electricity is expected to increase 8-fold between 2023 and 2028. The government has also been promoting the switch to electric vehicles, causing more demand. All of that while the country is shutting down its few remaining nuclear power plants. Experts say the government will have to come up with innovative solutions to address the challenges early on.
像现在2024年就来考虑到2030年的事情哦，这是好事。要有充分的一个思考跟准备，你才有办法去面对2030年的问题。
One of those potential solutions is renewable energy. Taiwan has been expanding its solar and offshore wind power capacity, but it's not enough to meet peak demand. Renewable energy is only expected to make up 20% of the total power supply by the end of 2026.
这个部分是低估的，至少应该估到15%，这样子会比较合理。燃气这边就没有办法补上。那你看看再生能源又一再的落后，在一再落后的情况底下，它就更不可能补上。
With electricity essential for both the country's top industries and its people, it's a race against time for experts to come up with a solution before demand outstrips supply. Andy Xue and Tiffany Wong for TaiwanPlus.
President Lai Ching-te has been briefed on the extreme weather Taiwan is experiencing this summer. Extreme heat warnings are expected to last through the week in most parts of the country. A new National Climate Change Response Committee set up under Lai will meet at the end of July for the first time. Lai said accurate weather forecasting helps the government assess how to respond to climate issues.
气候变迁，所以造成天然灾害频传。那么在这种状况之下，如果气象署的工作非常精准那么政府在做决定的时候也会更接近这个完美。
Taiwan's former envoy to Thailand has been impeached for sexual harassment while holding the position. Zhuang Shuohan was Taiwan's representative in Thailand from 2022 to 2023. He resigned over allegations that he touched and spoke inappropriately to a female colleague while on an official trip. After an investigation, a committee voted to impeach him and refer his case to a disciplinary court. China saw slower than expected growth in the second quarter. As Chris Gorin reports, the world's second largest economy is dealing with a number of domestic issues, which may hamper the Communist Party's goals for the year.
China's economy is slowing down. New economic data for the second quarter shows 4.7% growth year-on-year, lower than expected and down from 5.3% in the first quarter. Growth over the previous quarter was just 0.7%. Despite the data, the government is trying to downplay concerns.
对于我们这么大体量的经济体，能够实现5%左右的中高速增长，难能可贵，应该说是一份可圈可点、沉甸甸的成绩单。放在全球的坐标中观察，我国经济表现依然比较好。
But some economists say it's a bad sign for the world's second largest economy, which has set an annual growth target of 5%. A troubled real estate market, inflationary pressures, and low consumer demand are being blamed.
Given the, I would say, quite poor performance of the economy in Q2, it is indeed increasingly challenging for China to meet this 5% growth rate, simply because of the challenges in consumer and business sentiment. It basically reflects the weak consumer sentiment in piling up savings, but not really spending anywhere.
Another major issue is youth unemployment, which reached more than 21% last June. Numbers so concerning, the government temporarily stopped publishing them. Publication has resumed, but even when leaving out college students, youth unemployment was over 14% in May. And many recent grads are pessimistic about their prospects.
经济形势比较低迷吧，就是很多企业不是也破产了，你这样就本来有很多岗位就减少，就是每年的毕业生就是本科生人数是在逐渐增长的，然后就业岗位它甚至是不变或者是减少的。这样一个两个对冲的趋势下，我觉得就难免会很多人一毕业就找不到工作。
The economic troubles are sure to be at the center of the Communist Party's third plenum meeting taking place this week. While the meeting is held behind closed doors, economists and businesses around the world are waiting to see how the party plans to tackle its economic issues, given the country's influence on the global economy.
So I think, in short, what happened in China doesn't really stay in China, and it basically means that for the world, many companies may actually face greater competition from China, from prices, from the corporate profit side, or in terms of the competitiveness of other countries. I think basically more pressure may come.
China's economic woes at home come as it faces tariffs and other trade measures abroad, due to concerns about artificially low prices of some Chinese exports. With these factors hanging over the country's economy, the officials joining the third plenum will have some difficult decisions to make. Yi Pan and Chris Gorin for TaiwanPlus.
Former U.S. President Donald Trump has selected his running mate. Once a Trump critic, Ohio State Senator J.D. Vance is now his vice presidential candidate and one of Trump's most loyal defenders. Joyce Tseng has more.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye!
All those opposed signify by saying no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and the motion is adopted. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid upon the table.
Roaring applause at the Republican National Convention in Wisconsin as Ohio State Senator James David Vance, or J.D. Vance, is nominated as former President Donald Trump's running mate. Trump first made the announcement in a Truth Social post 2 days after surviving an assassination attempt in Pennsylvania, appearing at the convention with a bandage on his right ear. Here, big support for the former president's pick, a 39-year-old venture capitalist turned politician who was once one of Trump's fiercest critics.
He's a businessman. We have now, instead of one businessman, we've got two great businessmen. And that's what our country needs.
J.D. Vance brings together the strength to be able to connect with people that are in the middle. He can bring together maybe some people that are disheartened.
Vance was raised by his grandparents in a small city in Ohio, a Rust Belt state. Then went on to serve in the U.S. Marines, including a tour of duty in Iraq, eventually becoming a venture capitalist in California after graduating from Yale Law School. Vance wrote a best-selling memoir, Hillbilly Elegy, and once criticized Trump as a moral disaster, allegedly calling him America's Hitler, and said he was definitely not voting for Trump in the 2016 election. Now, Vance says he was wrong, changing his mind and becoming one of Trump's biggest allies.
Somebody like a J.D. Vance would certainly do a lot to mobilize Donald Trump's more rural, more blue-collar base. Well, I believe Trump is a very transactional person, and if somebody's useful to him now, he'll go along with them and forget maybe what was said in the past.
Vance has been vocal about putting America first, opposing interventionist U.S. foreign policies, slamming President Biden's aid package to Ukraine amid Russia's ongoing invasion. Vance has previously argued that the biggest threat to the United States is a Chinese invasion of Taiwan, and that U.S. weapons going to Kyiv should be going to Taipei.
The best way to help Ukraine, I think, from a European perspective, is for Europe to become more self-sufficient. Vladimir Putin is, of course, in the geopolitical backyard of Europe. The United States, as it focuses more on East Asia, simply can't be expected to foot a disproportionate share of the burden.
With the Republican ticket finalized for November's election, high spirits in Milwaukee on the first night of the 4-day convention, with the party eyeing a return to the White House. Chris Ma and Joyce Tseng for TaiwanPlus.
A group of 13 students and teachers aboard a sailboat that ran aground in shallow waters has been rescued by the Coast Guard.
108栋艇立即释放救难小艇前往救援，于上午10时许，将所有人员全数接驳离开搁浅船，再接驳至到另一艘帆船上。
The stranded boat was one of 2 manned by professional crew with the aim of sailing around Taiwan's main island as a school project. The voyage is intended to take 28 days and cover nearly 2,000 kilometers, with a total of 136 students and teachers taking part. The Coast Guard says the captain of the boat was unfamiliar with local waterways and no negligence is suspected. 15 elementary school students from an island off the east coast of Taiwan have been certified as Little Patrol officers. The students from Xiaoliuqiu have been using their summer vacation to record turtles nesting. They've also been educating tourists about the importance of cutting down on bright white lights at night, which can disturb the animals. The young officers also went to see a green sea turtle released back into the wild after getting tangled in a fishing line last year. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Finally, check out this home garden turned hummingbird sanctuary in Cuba. I'm Sandy Chi. Take care and see you next time.